Hello YouTube, it is 3:07 p.m. Just checked, and the next bus going east of here towards my storage doesn't show up until 3:31. So yeah, not waiting that long to go a half mile. Actually, I think it's a little less than a half mile. It is still January 15th. It's Saturday, 2022. And check this guy. Check this guy right here. He is walking around, approaching everybody. He approached me as I came out of the store. He's approaching people. Oh, it looks like he just made a sale. Approaching people that are pulling up in their cars, and had like a bottle of lotion, and then I don't know if it's shaving cream or shampoo. Basically, a couple of personal care items. It's like, excuse me, sir, you want to buy the blah blah blah, whatever the hell it was. And my response to him was, that's noisy. My response to him was, really, dude? You just steal that? He goes, no, it's mine. I'm like, well then, why are you selling it? He didn't have an answer to that. He just sort of walked off. But yeah, that's become a thing now. And maybe it always has been. I don't know. But well, that car's not looking so healthy. Oh man, this shop here. They, in their defense, they did refund me. But oh my gosh, and they've changed their name, but I'm sure it's the same. Just judging from the place, I'm sure it's what's up. It's just probably the same people there. But man, I went in there. I don't get my time back. Get my money back. Don't get my time back. Went in there. I was on my way to San Diego to juice scooters. Back when I was working for Lime, and realized that on days that it was absolutely dead here, I could make way more money if I would make the effort to drive to San Diego and at least spend one, maybe 2 nights in San Diego. Sometimes I stayed longer. God, I loved going to San Diego to do that. And I terribly miss San Diego. Of course, this was before the plague and all the crazy California state government restrictions on the plague. At least people that were loitering in this lot have got up and left. That's a good thing, considering how many damn no trespassing signs are up. Like, wow, about every 15 feet, 10 feet along that wall. Yeah, got up and left. So plenty of garbage here, though. Anyway, yeah, I was on my way there and just noticed that my car was just pulling, like it'd been pulling to the side a little bit. It was pulling to the side a lot. I was like, well, God. And I was thinking at that point, I really needed an alignment. And granted, I really did need an alignment. And at that time, the Saturn also was in need of some front end work as well. I mean, it had a questionable front end when I bought it. And I mean, that's a pretty normal thing. You buy a 10-plus-year-old car, unless the person selling it has already rebuilt the front end, it probably needs the front end. And that's one of the main reasons people will be selling 10-year-old cars, is because it's just like, yeah, too much hassle to rebuild the front end. It handles kind of funny. That's the problem waiting to happen. Is just unload this car. Anyway, I knew that when I got into the Saturn. I got the Saturn first. I forget what I paid for it, but it was not much. $1,000-ish. Anyhow, guys, I want to get sidetracked to the story of how I buying the Saturn, because that's an interesting one. But anyway, so that alignment place I just went by. So I stopped at my storage to do something. So I'm on this street, and I'm like, well, there's a place that does alignments. Maybe they can just, local neighborhood place. I like to support. I definitely like to support small independent businesses as opposed to corporate machines. So I thought I'd give them a shot. Yeah, I wish I'd have read their Google reviews before doing that, because they've got no shortage of bad Google reviews, which is probably why it has a different name now, in spite of the fact that it's really visibly still the same place in business and mode of operation. Anyway, yeah, I was really concerned. I'm thinking, well, I should at least get my alignment done, because it's just, the car's just like, I'd let off the wheel and I just want to leap to the left side of the road, and it was a little shaky, and or have them at least give it a quick inspection and say, hey, you need this, this, and this. And at this point, I was still debating as to whether I even wanted to go to San Diego because I was having some doubts about my front end. And the kid was like, oh no, you just need an alignment, and did an alignment. It took a while. All right, let's see how many people can figure out how to use this hawk. All right, we got handicapped guy and the scooter going across. Everybody on both sides. Okay, now it's flashing. Do you guys know that you can go? People on that side do. The people on this side, pretty delayed reaction. All right, now it's still blinking, so do we have any people that just simply fly through it while it's blinking? No, because it's not blinking before any more cars approached. All right. Always fun to watch drivers try to figure out what to do at one of these style lights that Phoenix is building more and more of. Anyway, so I went into that alignment place, and they, the kid that helped me was really nice. Got me right in and proceeded to do his whole thing and put the little sensors on it and put it on the machine and da-da-da-da-da, and I got a little printout. It looked all official, showing that it's perfectly computer aligned. And I drive off, and it honestly felt like it was pulling worse. And maybe that was just in my head, because I roll out of there and I look at that fancy piece of paper he gave me, and I'm thinking, it's finally gonna go straight down the road when I take my hand off of it, because it had never done that at that point, as long as I'd owned it. And I mean, it didn't pull bad, but it had been getting like really progressively worse, especially in that last couple of days. And I think the reason I was still making an effort to go to San Diego was that I had already bought and paid for a hotel room for that night prior to my alignment getting notably like, holy shit, this is bad. So I don't know if it's possible to get refunds on those, but I've heard horror stories that it can be very, very difficult with a lot of the, like, I think I use Priceline.com. Probably use Priceline.com. I've heard it can be very difficult to get refunds in situations like that. So generally speaking, don't prepay a hotel room you're not planning on using. So I'm still making an effort to get down there. And anyway, I rolled out. Part of it might have just been my mind, expecting to have, hey, look, there's the bus finally. Expecting to a lot of improvement. Maybe it didn't get worse, but it felt like it got worse. And I just kind of drove around the block, and I'm just like, wow, that's fucking ridiculous. And I drove back in and told the guy, and he's like, well, I did everything right, and I did the, and he still had a copy of the printout, so he showed me the printout. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not arguing with your printout or what you did, but my car is pulling worse than it was before. It's not going straight down the road. I'm not getting what I paid for here, whether you're saying you did it or not. And I guess he went in and talked to his boss, and then just came out and quickly refunded me. But yeah, that was like an hour of my life not getting back, and of course put me an hour later in trying to get to San Diego. So that sucked. Anyway, what I ended up doing, driving to San Diego, the problem got progressively worse, and it was it got to the point where I didn't even feel safe taking the freeway. So I started using back roads and state highways where I wouldn't need to drive as fast, which of course made the trip to San Diego take forever. By the time I got to San Diego, I would usually plan these trips so I would get to San Diego in like the middle of the afternoon, or early afternoon. Generally speaking, early enough that I would try to generally do a couple of. I'm reaching for keys when this is done with a code. Where is my mind? I usually try to leave here early enough. Obviously, if I had scooters that needed to be put out, get them put out first, and then try to leave here early enough that I would get into San Diego in like the middle of the day, middle of the afternoon. And as I'm coming in through like Santee and in the foothills, the west side suburb, or sorry, the east side suburbs, I'd try and pick up any stray scooters in that area that I could. Kind of hit and miss with Santee. That area had a lot of people that would board scooters. Like they show on the map, and then I'd get there and they'd be inside somebody's house. Oh, that's not my unit. Inside somebody's house, or inside like up on a, like I remember one time there was like, I was so stoked. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get 6 scooters, load up the car, and just head straight to the hotel to score. And it was only like a mile off of I-8, so I was all enthused about it. And then I get to the location, and they're all on like a 2nd floor balcony, a little private patio, 2nd floor balcony where I couldn't get out. I was just pissed. Of course, I reported them all, in the app, but Lime doesn't pay you for reporting them. It just flags them for whatever they do with them when they're flagged. So yeah, thanks for, more. So there, as much as I loved Lime, there was a lot of things like that where I did work and incurred expenses and absolutely didn't get paid for it, and that sucked. In the grand scheme of things, it all generally worked out. I made decent money doing Lime, but boy, every time that happened, it would be so frustrating. Anyway, so long drive. By the time I made it to San Diego, by having to drive so slowly, it was pretty late, and ended up not. I got to my hotel room. I did get to my room, but I decided it was in my best interest to not even try to juice that night, just because it was so. I just felt like I was going to just literally have my front end fall apart while I was driving, in another state where I don't have any kind of hookup for tow trucks or anything. That was before I had AAA, and it's not like AAA would have towed me from San Diego to Phoenix, So, after that I went to, I ended up staying the night. It was a pretty good time. I actually made a little bit of money that night just doing move tasks. And I do believe I rode a scooter that was like a red tag, which are the ones that you return to the shop. I do think I managed to return one to the shop, or maybe 2 to the shop. Mostly what I did is I went up from where my hotel was, and that was when I was still staying in the hotel over there by the sports arena. Ended up riding over to a karaoke bar. I forget what strip it was on, but it's like an area, kind of a club district, not downtown, but one that's a little bit more kind of central and north. Like losing my knowledge of San Diego, because 2 years ago I could have told you exactly what street it was on and what district it was, but anyway, got there and I had a good time doing karaoke. Got to chat with the KJ about just what the karaoke business was like there and how much money I could potentially make in San Diego as a karaoke DJ. And as I showed him my website and explained what my system was like, he's like, "Yeah, dude, you'd make bank here. Holy crap!" So, the next day actually worked out pretty good. Again, I didn't get a lot of work done until the day after, but as far as like juicing limes, but I ended up. In the morning, I ended up being pretty much up all night, but in the morning calling a shop that specializes in front end work on the northern end of San Diego, and driving limping my car there, and they took good care of it. They rebuilt my front end. My front end I've had 0 issues with my front end ever since. And also I ended up going to Discount Tires right there. When they inspected my front end, they let me know that the reason that the alignment that I got at the little shop that I just passed on Van Buren didn't help any. And the guys at that shop were just appalled that somebody would even take my money and take the effort to do an alignment without inspecting it first. But the main reason, not only was there some worn out components at the front end, and the guy there at that shop was like, yeah, you could align it, but a lot smarter to fix this shit first before pissing away your money on an alignment. And I forget what all I had fixed, rebuilt in the front end. But the main thing he said was that my tires. He said I had a tire completely coming apart, and it was bulged. And like I could have sworn I looked at that, but I just didn't see it. But a professional should see that, especially before they doing alignment, they should be inspecting your tires to make sure, because mismatched tires or damaged tires are going to cause alignment issues, even if your alignment's front end, going to cause your front end to pull, even if your alignment is good. And so yeah, I ended up going to Discount Tires right next to that front end shop, specialty shop, and got new tires, and that made it way better. Almost to the point I was having second thoughts about going to the front end shop, but I was just so appreciative of the fact that they had squeezed me in, even though I didn't have an appointment. But I was like, you know what? Now I got the money on my credit card. I'm making bank doing these trips to San Diego. So what the hell? Let's just get this done. And I did. Anyway, wasn't planning on telling that story. I just looked over at that front end alignment shop that wasted my time and aligned a car with absolutely trash tires on it, which is something no shop should ever do. So I kind of feel like they tried to scam me. And it just reminded me of that story. So hope you found that interesting. Anyway, I'm here. I want to get some work done because I only have so much daylight to be effective here.